Okay, let's do this video again because my camera just shut off and I did a good video, but I don't script, so I'm not doing that again. This is Planar Wars number 12, and that is a planar right there, and it's made by SimGot, and I'm sure you've never seen it because I just looked online and I didn't see anything about it. I don't know if it's going to be released or not. It's not a collaboration. I don't know if it will be adjusted, but there's none out there. If you comment below and you're a subscriber, give the video a thumbs up if you didn't like it. I'll send this out to you like I sent out the black and red collab that never happened, and that person that got that, and he did, has a set that nobody out there in the world has. There's some appeal to that, and there's resale value as well, which is all something you should always consider. So good luck to everybody, and thank you for your support. I think that the best two planars out there, and I'll conclude Planar Wars with number 12 and my final recommendations based on just all the spam that came out. Let me explain the series of events so that you understand. I did a video, and it was just, I might have called it Planar Wars 1, or I didn't. There were, the thumbnail I remember was five planars on a stand with X marks on it, and then the Timeless had a check mark on it. And I released that, and I explained in that video why I thought that finally somebody had tuned something that actually played back music without like DSP, like the Odyssey, that you could just plug it and play it and enjoy it. And there were like 3 shops on AliExpress and another seller that had stock, and that it all went out, it was gone. I think 2 weeks later, Critical does a video, and he does the wow face, and then everybody that had restocked up just started selling that hand over fist. That turned into a legend, and a lot of that had to do with Crin, because that's something that he doesn't usually do, is say, holy crap, that was a planar that finally had hit the this is reasonable level. And then he put his stamp on that, and then it just took off. And then all the companies saw that and just started jumping in. And every week to month there was a new king, there was a new best. And what people didn't know is that we were talking about 1 to 2 to 3, later 4 drivers that were being used again and again. This wasn't a bunch of people coming up with different stuff. It was just different shells with different tuning, but a lot of it was crap. And a lot of people said that crap was not crap. So there were these battles and questions for a long time. And so I was doing Planar Wars and doing my best to come up with what was actually good. So in the 12th and final installment, I'm going to go ahead and recommend, and I probably might not do this again. I'm going to say that of all the things done with what is essentially very similar drivers, that the S15 and the S08 are the standout sets with a library like mine, if you got one like mine. And like the beginning of my the intro of my video says what my preferences is. I like things that are warm. I don't like too much intensity in the upper mids and treble, because that will fatigue me, which leads to a shorter listening session. Why would I do that? I wouldn't. And when you turn, also this type of tuning gives me headroom, which means that if I want to turn it up, I'm not immediately blasted by a spike that doesn't bother me at regular listening but jumps out as soon as I start to turn it up. Both of these sets don't do that. I'm able to turn these up in when and if I feel like I want to. Though I don't often do that, both of these sets allow me to do that. So I get the planars, and I get what they do best, which is have an elevated bass without destroying everything that follows. And I have a tuning that gives me out of the box what I love, and it gives me the headroom. And at $99, the S08 will do that. And if Let's Sure is being straight up, they said they had a lot to do with this 13mm driver, which is slightly different from the typical 14.8s. And I think it's a great sounding driver. I love it. And at $99, I think it's great, and I recommend it to you. If you want to spend more money, keeping in mind that a lot of these drivers are similar, like the S12 Anniversary Edition, part of their promotion was a tried and true tested driver. They're telling you that they're using a driver that has passed the inspection of reviewers and of consumers, but they're using it again and repurposing it. Keeping all that in mind, I think the best version of that driver, like that, is the S15, but you're going to pay $250 to $350 for that. But I think that's the best you can get. Because when you start to charge $8, $9, $1,000 for what is essentially the same driver, and I've opened up some expensive ones, and I'm not sharing it because getting into that, that's a whole nother topic. That's like a fourth wall in this hobby, talking about OEMs and who and where these things come from. Enjoy the hobby. I'm not here to rain on parades. like what you like, spend as much as you want. It's your right. There's lots of very expensive Summit Fi stuff that comes in front of me, and I choose not to do videos because if you're spending that much money, you're enjoying the hobby. Definitely, that's part of it. And you like item B, which I don't like. So what? Leave it alone. If the only people that can even option that is people with big wallets and live in a higher tax bracket, and they typically buy stuff. They're called whales in Hong Kong. They buy what they want because they can. Let them be. Let them enjoy the hobby. I will identify through my top 10 list what I think are the best of the Summit Fi. It's what that's turned out to be. And stand on it and use my library to explain it. As far as planars go, 350 to 250 for the S15 I think is as high as you can go or need to go to get the top performance from this tech as it exists on September 12th, 2024. This could change. I don't think it will, but it could. And if it does, I'll revisit it. But right now, as Planar Wars 12 is going to be the closing of the book. The war has been won by Let's Shore. They did that through volume and tenacity and listening to feedback. Or Michael Bruce, shout out to him. He really was the guy that was saying, you know what, they're messing up with this. If you drop this and if you push up the bass, you don't get it, and then you drop the upper mids and you can turn it up and crank it. And you can really, he's all about cranking it up in headroom. Headroom is huge, yo. That makes you be able to listen to things at a loud volume for a long period of time because you're not getting blasted by anomalous peaks and crevasses. Like, that's a big deal. And it's the same for me. I like headroom. Whether it's a set and it's tuning or a DAP that's letting me turn it up to 30 out of 100 steps and giving me tons of clean power, and I got 70 steps that I'm never going to use. Like money, it's better to have much more than you actually need. Headroom, power, or tuning that gives you flexibility. The S12 and SCR8 are that. This is Planar Wars 12, and it's over. Let's Shore 1. Links below to both of these sets that were sent originally by Let's Shore, so thank you to them. And don't forget, you can get the SimGot planar that nobody's got and may never have. I don't really know. It's a lot of stuff comes to me that never sees the light of day. Collabs and others. This isn't a collab, by the way. So, you guys have a great couple days, and I'll see you in a couple days. And I am out.